Hello, high achiever. Hello, hello. I think I am almost live. Hello. Yes, finally. I was having a few problems with YouTube, but now I was able to stream and I'm on time. And I'm on time because I came here 10 minutes earlier. Look at my blue teeth. It's because of this virtual background. So as I get ready, I am still opening stuff here, organizing YouTube and trying to get Instagram to roll at the same time. I am going to take this chance to reintroduce myself. My name is Flavia Costa. I am Brazilian. I have been teaching English since 1991. Preparing students for the C2 proficiency exam is my expertise. It is also my passion. And I have been online since 2016, the end of 2016. Let's say 2017, right? In 2008, when I started preparing students for international exams, I used to prepare students for CAE, IELTS, and CPE mostly. Nowadays, I have been working with CPE, only CPE, because of the demand that I have been receiving. I am here. Oh, wow, my teeth are so specially blue today. Today I am here. Let me connect my Instagram account. I am meddling with my phone here a bit so that I can have everything ready for everybody. Hello, high achievers on Instagram. Yes, here I am. Flavia Costa here, your CP teacher. And as promised, today I am going to teach you the difference between IELTS and CPE. And I'm also going to talk about why in my opinion, taking the CPE is more profitable than taking the IELTS. I am having a little bit of trouble here with my tripod, but it seems like it's going to work right now. A little bit crooked, but okay, it's done. Right, let's leave it at that. Okay. All right, so I'm also going to open YouTube here as I am explaining everything first. Take it easy. I am opening YouTube here because I also want to chat with you guys live and answer your questions, right? So bear with me for a moment. I am doing everything so that everybody is able to participate. Okay. So yes, now I can see my YouTube channel. Let me see if anybody's saying hi to me there. Hi, everybody. There are two people inside. I am trying to see their names. Hello. Okay, so YouTube is open and I'm here. So let's get started without further ado because And right now I am trying to return to my meeting, and here I am. Because yes, I am crazy as like that. I promised I was going to be here. I promised I was going to be on YouTube. I gotta be in both at the same time with my yellow teeth because of my background, my virtual background, but fear not, my friend, here I am. All right, Hilaria is on YouTube, Fernanda is on Instagram, and I am going to start talking about the difference between CPE and IELTS and why, in my opinion, taking the CPE is more profitable than taking the IELTS. I wish I didn't. I should do something about my teeth. I prefer them blue than yellow. Okay, let's just get rid of this background because it's going to bug me the whole day long. It didn't used to do that. Anyways, it's just going to take too long. I am not browsing on YouTube properly. It's going to work, guys. Don't worry. It is going to work. Yes, here I am. Okay, so I am on both. So let's get started, okay? I'm going to share my screen with you. Just a minute. I have created these slides here. Let's hope they work. It is also the first time I work with Google Slides. Let's see. Okay. I want them to go from the beginning, and they are starting from the last one. Yeah, this is how tech savvy I am. Okay. Right. Abracadabra. So, C2 proficiency or IELTS, which one should you take and why? Will I be able to do it? I hope so. I am worried about Instagram here. I will just see if I can make it smaller. Guys, just a minute. Yes, this is going to work like this. This is what happens when you try to use something for the first time. Okay, that's what's going on. And I am here trying to use something for the first time. But I hope it works for all of us. Even if my slides don't work properly, I'll be able to show them to you, okay? Don't worry. All right. C2 proficiency or IELTS, which one should you take and why? Let's go, let's go. Yes. So first thing I would like to talk about is what is the difference between an IELTS exam and a C2 proficiency exam. As you can see, I tried to improve from PowerPoint to Google Slides, but Google Slides are much, much bigger. Here I go. What is the difference between IELTS and a Cambridge English exam such as the C2 proficiency? Do you want to know? Do you want to know? If you want to know, say yay! Yay! Right. Both exams test English language skills, you know that. Both exams are produced by the University of Cambridge, with IELTS being jointly managed by Cambridge English Language Assessment and the British Council. And both are well known and internationally recognized. So the question people have been asking me now is, which one should I take? What is the IELTS? Let's start. The IELTS is the world's most popular English test for higher education and global migration. I am pretty sure you knew that already, didn't you? It is so famous. But the C2 proficiency exam, it is the highest level qualification out there for non-native English speakers, and it is the highest level qualification proof that you are a highly competent speaker of English. So which one should you take? Let's go in parts, just like Jack the Stripper would have said. Okay, so for IELTS, I hope you're being able to read. I will read it for you. Students usually take an IELTS exam either for immigration purposes or because they need a certain IELTS score in order to enter higher education. IELTS certificate expires after 2 years. This, in my opinion, is its greatest drawback. Okay, it expires every 2 years and it's as expensive as the C2 proficiency exam. So that means that if you need proof of your level of English 3 years after you have taken an IELTS test, you will have to sit the full exam again. And why is that? It is so because it is a leveling test. It doesn't test you deeply inside of your knowledge. So they cannot grant you a lifelong certificate. On the other hand, Cambridge English Proficiency, the C2 proficiency exam nowadays, is usually taken for increasing future job prospects, and that is the main motivation for doing a Cambridge exam. An exam such as the C2 proficiency, the CPE, is valuable proof of your level of English that you can include on your CV when applying for a job. Why is that? Because it does not expire every 2 years. It is a lifelong certificate. Most scholarships or university courses also ask for a CAE or CPE certificate instead of IELTS, okay? And as I have already said, there is no expiry date on any of the Cambridge English exams, CAT, PAT, FCE, CAE, or CPE. So some people still prefer the IELTS, and the reasons why they do, I'm going to show you right now. IELTS is a leveling test, as I said before, okay? There is only one test in IELTS for all levels. So this is how it works. Let me see if I can make myself a little bit bigger here for you to see me. This is how it works. When you take the IELTS, here, behind me, let me see if I can put my hand here. Behind me, you will be able to see, this is the leveling. These are the scores for IELTS. And right here are the scores for CPE. Here are the grades, right? And right here are the CEFR levels. The CEFR is the Common European Framework of Reference. So when you take Cambridge exams or the main suite exams or the IELTS, it doesn't matter because Cambridge is the one who prepares both of them, okay? So you will be taking the same style of exam anyways. But the Common European Framework of Reference has divided English language in different levels. I'm going to explain this to you a little bit more, but what I wanted you to see is that these are the scores for IELTS and for proficiency, okay? So let's see, IELTS, proficiency. Yes, one day I'm going to be able to do this without thinking. Anyways. So there's only one test that you take for entire IELTS. It's a leveling test. So which means is that you take the same test and you don't fail it. It is rather difficult to fail IELTS because they're going to give you your score, and that score will show you where in the Common European Framework of Reference scale you end up. You see? So if you get a 4, for example, you are B1 level.
if you get a 5.6, let's take a look here. If you get a 5.5 or a 6, you are B2 level. What else? If you get a 7 or a 7.5, you are C1 level. And if you get an 8 is still C1 level, okay? It's a little bit above, but it's considered C1 because it is C2 with a C, you see? And then if you get a 9 on IELTS, 8.59, it reflects C2 proficiency. But can you see how much above IELTS the C2 proficiency goes? It tests you a little bit higher than the IELTS does. But that's not the main difference. Okay, there is another difference here. Because the IELTS is a leveling test, you are going to be asked questions about basic English, intermediate English, and then more advanced English, and then proficient English throughout this one paper. While for C2 proficiency, you are going to be tested in this level of proficiency, advanced and proficiency, throughout the exam. There are not going to be easier questions, you see. In my opinion, that makes the C2 proficiency easier than the IELTS, and I will explain why. I am saying that it is easier to take the C2 proficiency, which tests you deeply within your knowledge of advanced English, than to take an exam which tests you from basic to advanced. Because sometimes you are a really advanced speaker, your English knowledge is outstanding. However, there are some basic structures which were not thoroughly studied or thoroughly fixed when you were there taking your beginner course. Some people, for example, tend to make mistakes in the future. They sometimes mix up when to use will and when to use going to. This is pretty basic, right? And if you make a mistake like that here in IELTS, it immediately brings you down because it's leveling you. So it shows that you are making basic mistakes. However, if you're taking the CPE, it is testing you on your overall knowledge of advanced English throughout the exam. And one simple mistake in one future tense is not going to prevent you from passing the C2 proficiency exam. You see what I mean? So it doesn't bring you down. That's what I want you to see. Okay, right. So let's continue here with this presentation because I made it with an order on purpose. So let's go. It is a leveling test. There is only one test in IELTS for all levels. However, there are 3 different versions. There is the IELTS. Come on. Hello. Yes, there is the IELTS Academic, the IELTS General, and the IELTS for UK visa. That's the idea, okay? IELTS Academic is if you were going to a university. This is the one, if you're going to enter university as an entrance exam, this is the IELTS you should take. If you are looking forward to immigrating, if your plan is immigration to Canada or Australia, this is the one you should take. And if you are going to immigrate to the United Kingdom or to get a visa, this is the one you should take. Okay, so these are the main purposes of the IELTS. Now, for the Cambridge English Proficiency exam, I'm going to show you a little bit more than the C2 because there are different exams for each CEFR level. So they test you deeply in each level, and that is why the certificates do not expire. This is what I have just told you, right? So for the Cambridge exams, you start being tested at A1 level movers. This means young learners, and then young learners flyers, key, preliminary, first, advanced, and proficiency. Which means that if you take the C2 proficiency exam and your level is not proficient, you don't pass the exam, you fail, okay? But if you take the IELTS and your level is not proficient, you do not fail the exam. You only get a lower score. Remember, I'm going to point here again. You get a lower score, which is going to classify you, which is going to give you the corresponding level of the CEFR. This does not happen to the CPE. Only if you go at C1 level. If you are at C1 level, then they're going to send you not a certificate, but they're going to send you a statement of being C1 level. Okay, so IELTS, you do not fail if you are a C2 level student, but the CPE, you can fail. Now, if you prepare properly, you are not going to fail either of them, okay? Because in what I am going to show you is that passing the CPE with an A is easier than passing the IELTS with a 9. Flavia, are you seriously saying that this could be a problem for you with Cambridge? No, guys, this is true. Passing the C2 proficiency exam with an A or a B is easier than passing the IELTS with a 9. Okay, I'm going to show you why. All right, so let's continue. Here we go. Oh my goodness, I'm going to suffer some lawsuits today. All right, the IELTS test consists of 4 parts. This is what I'm going to show you now, okay? Why it is easier to pass the C2 proficiency with a B or an A than the IELTS with a 9. See if you agree with me. The IELTS test consists of 4 parts. It starts with the listening, and the listening is played once. The C2 proficiency exam also has a listening, but you can listen to it twice. It already makes a difference, doesn't it? Okay, so IELTS, you listen once. CPE, you listen twice. All right. There is a reading test, but there is no use of English. I don't know if not having use of English is better or worse, because if you are an English teacher, you will understand that most of the times it is easier for you to deal with the grammar test than with the reading comprehension one. Readings are always hard and laborious, and the IELTS does not have the use of English part, only the reading. Then there are 2 writing tasks and 1 speaking task. For the speaking test, the speaking part of the IELTS, you are going to be on your own. And for C2 proficiency, you will be with a partner. Again, with a partner, being with a partner makes things easier, okay, than being alone with an examiner recording you, I guarantee. So the IELTS lasts 2.45 minutes total. Okay, how about the Cambridge English proficiency? The proficiency exam, any Cambridge exam, FCE, CAE, CPE, beginning at FCE, okay? FCE, CAE, and CPE, they also consist of 4 parts, just like IELTS, okay? Instead of starting with the listening, it starts with the reading and use of English paper. So it has a grammar portion on this paper. Then part 2 is the writing. It also has 2 tasks here, 2 tasks there. For the C2 proficiency, there is a compulsory essay. For the IELTS, there is a compulsory essay, okay? And what makes it easier here when writing? For the C2 proficiency, the second task is going to be an option. They're going to give you 5 different options of writings for you to choose from. It could be an article, it could be a letter, it could be a review, it could be a report, it could be another essay. And they also give you a possibility to talk about 2 books, which they give you ahead of time so that you can read the books and prepare for this writing task. So part 2 of the C2 proficiency, the writing task, will give you 5 options for you to choose from. Now, the IELTS, no, you will have the compulsory essay and you will have to analyze a graph and you will have to write about that graph. I mean, as a Brazilian, I'm not very good at analyzing graphs, and putting that on paper in writing is not my best feature. I can do it. I have been preparing students to take the IELTS for quite a while, but it is still the hardest task for me until today. So usually I take the essay as fast as a bullet because this is my strongest feature, let's put it that way. And then I would go for the graph, for the analysis of the graph. Of course, you are going to do what's best for you, but what I am saying is that there are 2 writing tasks in both the IELTS and the proficiency. However, the proficiency gives you more options for you to play with, and then you are going to write using your preferred style of writing, okay? So here again, another thing that makes the C2 proficiency a bit easier than the IELTS. See what I mean? Then there is the listening. I have already said that for IELTS, the listening is played once. For the C2 proficiency, the listening is played twice. It makes quite a difference, I guarantee. And yeah, I don't even have to talk much about that. And then the speaking part, the speaking part of the C2 proficiency, you go in with the partner. This is the best thing ever, because not only can you pass the ball when you don't know what to say, you can turn around and say, do you see what I mean? Do you agree with me? Do you see eye to eye with me? You see? So you have more time to think of what to say, but you are also being tested in that. This is interactive communication. Can you believe that you are getting scores for that? I mean, you are getting points because you are interacting with your partner well. This is a great way of scoring high, and this is one of the things I enjoy the most about preparing students, because we end up becoming friends. We have to discuss, we have to try to reach a conclusion, and you know, it's loads of fun. While the IELTS does not have that part, it doesn't even have a partner. There's going to be only one examiner here sitting. When you sit for the IELTS, there's only one examiner. They're going to record your voice, which makes you even more nervous because, you know, it's nerve-wracking to have somebody recording you. And for the C2 proficiency, there will be 2 examiners, one interviewing you, one assessor, and one colleague. This is going to make your life much better. You're going to have fun while taking the exam. And it puts a little bit less pressure on you, okay? And this is for all of the tests out there. And then I have to repeat, this is easier and it lasts forever. You have a lifelong certificate in your pocket so that you can use it in your resume and you can impress your employers. For IELTS, you will take a much harder test, and it lasts 2 years. Well, I'm not saying that the C2 proficiency exam is easier than the IELTS. That's not what I'm saying. The C2 proficiency is hard. It's fairly hard. However, if you take the CAE or the FCE for that matter, it is, you know, it starts getting easier because they're testing you thoroughly within a level, while this one here is a leveling test, as I said before. Okay, let's move on. The FCE, which is B2 level, lasts 3.29 minutes. The CAE lasts 3.55 minutes, and the CPE lasts 3.56 minutes. Guys, I can see that some people are asking questions. Please do ask all of your questions. I am going back and I'm going to answer all of them at the end, okay? Because I really want to to show you everything. I believe I might answer your questions, just showing you the presentation. So again, the IELTS, about the speaking section. Every test is recorded, as I said. In part 1, the examiner asks general questions about yourself and a range of familiar topics, and it lasts from 4 to 5 minutes. Part 2, you will be given a card which asks you to talk about a particular topic. You will have 1 minute to prepare before speaking for up to 2 minutes. And the examiner will then ask 1 or 2 questions on the same topic. In part 3, you will be asked further questions about the topic in part 2. This part of the test lasts between 4 and 5 minutes. Okay? Now, the speaking section of the C2 proficiency, the tests are usually not recorded. And why do I say usually? Because in case Cambridge decides to use that day or that specific moment for internal purposes, they're going to study the development of the exam, the level of the students. They're going to research about the exam itself. They might ask for permission to record. This is extremely rare. However, it might happen, and you can decide if you will allow or not. Okay, allow it or not. So it is usually not recorded, but they could ask you for permission to that. Part 1 of the CPE, I'm talking only about the C2 proficiency here. I am not talking about the previous tests anymore. So part 1, the examiner asks general questions about yourself and a range of familiar topics. See, same thing as IELTS. The examiner asks general questions about yourself and a range of familiar topics. But in IELTS, it lasts from 4 to 5 minutes, and in CPE, it lasts 2 minutes only. Okay? For the pair, 2 minutes for both of you. So it's really quick. It's a breaking the ice moment. The examiner is going to ask you your name, where are you from, and then something else really quickly and move on. Part 2 of the C2 proficiency exam. The interlocutor gives you some pictures to look at. So this is different. IELTS does not have that portion. Okay. First, you have to answer a question which focuses on your reaction to aspects of one or more pictures. And the second part of the picture part is a decision-making task, which you have to do with the other candidate. So 4 minutes. And this is the easiest moment comparing to the IELTS. It is nerve-wracking anyways. We're being tested and everything is hard. However, because you are with a partner and you are looking at pictures and you're being graded for your interaction, you can always ask questions and, you know, be a little bit more relaxed in that moment so that you can show off and produce more while when taking the IELTS, you will be on your own. There won't be pictures and you will be really nervous because the environment of the IELTS is a nerve-wracking one. Okay, most of the people who take the IELTS, they're going to immigrate and their lives depend on that. And it's really, when you enter an IELTS testing center, it is, you feel the tension. You can cut the tension with a knife. Okay. So yes, if you are going to get a visa for an English-speaking country, or if you're going to immigrate, you need the IELTS. So don't go take the C2 proficiency because it's not going to be worth it. Okay. However, this is the only reason why one should take the IELTS. I mean, all of the other reasons, they take you towards the C2 proficiency. You see, it costs the same. It takes the same amount of time to prepare, and the IELTS expires in 2 years. The CPE lasts for your entire life. The CPE will open doors to the market. You will hand it to your employee. It is also valid for you to enter a university. It's accepted in more than 25,000 different places in the world. And it's easier. And not easier. It's more fun to prepare for. And there are some idiosyncrasies within the C2 proficiency exam, which makes it a bit less nerve-wracking. Okay, so maybe I was clearer now. It is hard, but it's a bit less nerve-wracking. Finally, part 3 of the speaking test at the C2 proficiency exam says the interlocutor on the C2 proficiency exam. The interlocutor gives you a card with a question. So it's almost like part 2 here. The interlocutor gives you a card with a question, okay, and some ideas on it. And you have to speak for about 2 minutes. So 2 minutes here, 2 minutes in part 2 of IELTS. On your own here, on your own on IELTS. After you finish, your partner, and now that's where IELTS does not have that part. Your partner has to comment, and the interlocutor then asks you both a question on the same topic for you to interact. The interlocutor follows the same procedure with your partner, and then you have some time to listen to your partner, get some ideas, interact as well, and then leads a discussion with both of you for 10 minutes. You see? So the C2 proficiency has this interaction moment, and one of the criteria for the evaluation is your interactive capacity. Interactive communication is the name of the criterion, okay, which IELTS does not have. And this is one of the reasons why I do believe it makes IELTS a little bit harder than the C2 proficiency. So here you go. If your purpose is academic career or studies, the C2 proficiency will suit you better. I'll repeat. If your purpose is academic career or studies, the C2 proficiency, the CPE, will suit you better. So in the end, what's the difference? Do you remember? I do. Let's put it in a nutshell. By the way, in a nutshell is an idiomatic expression, is an idiom, which means all things contained inside of a little small space, just like a nutshell. Let's put everything in a nutshell. And let me read it for you. You can't really accomplish more than the C2 proficiency CPE. That's the highest level of English out there, highest level certificate of English knowledge out there in the world for non-native speakers. It shows that you have reached the level of an educated native speaker because, let's put it lightly, let's say that 50% of the native speakers wouldn't pass the CPE, if I put it lightly. So of an educated native speaker, and there's little you cannot do with your English knowledge. What else? Whether it is worth to take the IELTS or the C2 proficiency depends on what you're looking for. It is better to take the test for exact purposes, such as presenting it to a potential employee as required, or a university as a university entrance exam. If you need to pursue academic career or study, CPE will suit better. And IELTS is necessary for visa and immigration purposes in Europe, Great Britain, Canada, and Australia. Okay. So if you're going to immigrate, no CPE for you. And both IELTS and TOEFL, I put TOEFL here because it's the same style, expire after 2 years, while the CPE is valid for life. So what will you do next? If I were you, I would start doing just like this little brain here. I would start studying and preparing for whichever exam is best for you, depending on what your goal is. Remember, the CPE exam is fits the same purposes as the IELTS in most of the criteria, but immigration and visa purposes, because visa purposes and immigration are connected. However, for everything else, for study purposes, for getting scholarships, most scholarship programs will ask for the CPE because it's a higher level than the IELTS. And you might, it is going to be easier for you to get a scholarship if you have a higher level of English. And if the competition depends upon the English you have, having the CPE is definitely going to open lots of doors for you. Okay, so that's it. That's the main difference. I hope you liked this lesson. I hope you learned something new. I'm going to stop sharing my screen here, and I will see if you have questions for me. Let's see who asked me questions here. Just a minute. I'm going to grab my phone. My hand is right in front of the camera for my Instagrammers. And some people are sending me little hearts here. Let's see, me and my yellow teeth are going to talk to you right now. Okay, let me scroll down. I see that Carol Mangate came here, Gi, Vivi Jackson, Zartoli. Zartoli is always here. Thank you, Zartoli. Juju Alves Mota, Alejandra Bosco, Juju Alves Mota again. She says, hi, what's going on? I hope I answered. Fernanda came, ask teacher now. I have been learning a lot from your lessons. Thanks for sharing. Thank you for being here. Tastisio, dictionaries and coffee. That's Ilaria. Ilaria was both on YouTube and Instagram. I believe people prefer to meet me here on Instagram because it doesn't have as much of a gap, of a span. When I speak here, it happens at the same time. And for YouTube, there's always this gap. So Yoseli, Renata, Ivan, nobody's asking questions. People are just saying, yay, thanks, yes, I agree. No questions for me? Let me see. Somebody asked, really? I don't know, because I don't remember what I was saying when you asked, really. Somebody's laughing. You can skip time to time. So hard. Okay, mostly comments, no questions. There was a comment here saying, if you get the CP certificate, can you get into an American or Canadian university? Great question. Yes, you can. Most universities in the world will accept my mess here. Look, I'm at the office. There is a bed out there. This is my messy office. Okay, so both universities in the world are going to accept the CPE and even the CAE. I mean, most universities in the world, they will ask for the CAE. The CPE is mostly required when you need a scholarship, okay? When you are competing for a scholarship, or when you're going to take a master's or a PhD, then that's when the CPE starts being important for university reasons. But if you are afraid of taking the C2 proficiency and not passing, the CAE will definitely do that job for you, okay? The CPE is mostly for English teachers because, I don't know if you know, but language centers, English language centers around the world, they have been asking more and more for the C2 proficiency from their teachers. They want to have teachers who are able to teach all levels of English, and English knowledge nowadays is something that is so easy to acquire. When I was younger, when I was young and beautiful, English was a hard knowledge, hard and expensive knowledge to acquire because there was no internet. You had necessarily to go to a language center. There wasn't a possibility for you to communicate with other language, other English speakers around the world. Nowadays, guys, come on, you're here talking to me. Internet is here. You can communicate with people all around the world all the time. And English knowledge is something that everybody can acquire nowadays. So it is important for English teachers to have the highest level certificate out there and be able to teach students who have information online, okay? Because you get to the classroom and you ask your teacher something they don't know how to answer. This is rather embarrassing. I don't know how to answer loads of things, but I can search. I know where to find the answers, right? And having a certificate to support your lack of knowledge sometimes is all you need, okay? So yes. Nobody knows everything. We're just humans. We're not going to know everything. However, having a certificate which proves that your level is enough to teach others, that's of paramount importance for English teachers. So if you are an English teacher and you still haven't got your CPE, come on, guys. It used to be something extra for you to get a better salary. Nowadays, it's practically mandatory. You're not even getting hired if you don't have it, okay? But yes, you can get, you can enter any university with the CPE or the CAE. Now, can you get a visa in order to work in an English-speaking country with the C2 proficiency? In some places, yes. Australia accepts the C2 proficiency for you to get a work visa, but not for immigration. It used to, but things changed. The United Kingdom accepts the CPE for various situations. However, a couple of years ago, they have started asking for the IELTS UKVI, which is a specific one for the United Kingdom. So before taking any exam, you should figure out if that certificate is the one that will fit your needs, okay? If that is good enough for your purposes. Jessica saying, okay. Let me see more questions here. Oh goodness, I am an online teacher, but I'm 47 years old, so I struggle a bit. Ilaria is asking me, were I to migrate abroad, should I take the IELTS even if I hold the C2 proficiency? Yes. Immigration will not accept C2 proficiency. You must take the IELTS general. It's not even the academic. If you have IELTS academic, you can't immigrate either. Okay, so it's kind of a mafia. They make money out of that. So if I were somebody who made money out of exams, I would rather have people taking exams which expire every 2 years and I could sell. Guys, I'm going to remove this background because this yellow teeth is really bugging me right now. It wasn't because I wasn't looking at it, but now that I am just going to get rid of it, okay? If I remember how to do it. Okay. Let me put my purple one. I love this one. My teeth doesn't get yellow. It gets extra white. Yay! All right. So were I to migrate abroad, should I take the IELTS? Yes, you should. I can't hear you well. Oh, I'm sorry. I know my, maybe, is it better now? I hope it's better now. I must get another phone. My microphone is just not working so well. Now it's okay. Now the audio works. Okay. The audio is low again. Now it works. Okay. Well, I'm sorry about the audio, guys. I have already put my mind into buying another phone. And yeah, one of the reasons why, let me see if you will be able to see. No, you won't. The microphone, the place where my voice gets in the phone is underneath where I usually put my finger or my thumb. And so it's getting a little bit, yeah, it doesn't work well all the time, and it's getting probably dirty already. Anyways, technology, right? Gotta switch it every now and then. Okay, so that's it for today. Thank you very much for being here. I hope you liked this explanation. I hope you learned something new. Thank you very much for bearing with with the time it took me for set everything up. I am getting better at this each day, and I am sure next time it's going to be better. So I'll see you next Tuesday at 12:30 at the same bat channel, at the same bat time, even though I'm not Batgirl. And I will teach you something new. Okay, if you would like to request any lesson specifically, just write it down on Instagram or on YouTube, and I will be more than glad to prepare something specially for you. My name is Flavia Costa. I am your CPE teacher, and I'll see you next class. Bye. And I'll see you next class too, YouTubers. I'm just ending this here. YouTube takes a little bit longer because I am still getting used to everything here. But yes, now I'm ready to go. Bye-bye.